You're watching Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6. It's not just news, it's Eyewitness News.
The rain is falling, the wind is blowing, and waves are crashing. Hurricane Rita is getting closer to making landfall tonight. The storm has its sights set on the Texas coast.
Rita's already caused flooding problems in New Orleans. She is weakened slightly, but she's still likely to inflict widespread damage.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Rita hasn't hit landfall yet, but she's already caused plenty of misery.
And as she's moved across the Gulf, Rita has dumped heavy rain along the Louisiana coast. The rains caused new levee breaches in New Orleans, creating new flooding in the below sea level city. But it's not the east coast of Texas that's facing the direct hit. Houston and Galveston may escape direct hits.
But the oil refining cities of Beaumont, Port Arthur, Texas, and Lake Charles, Louisiana are in Rita's path. Harrah's has evacuated its casino property in Lake Charles. Towering waves and up to 2 feet of rain could fall. Millions of people have moved inland to escape Rita's wrath. President Bush, meanwhile, is monitoring the situation from a storm operations center in Colorado. For the latest on where Hurricane Rita is right now, here's Kevin Janison.
Colleen, the storm is getting closer and closer to the coastline now, a little over 80 miles away as it continues to move to the northwest at 13. The eye has filled in, another sign that it is weakening. At last report from the National Hurricane Center, still a Category 3 hurricane with 125-mile-per-hour sustained winds. Winds will be a problem, mainly in southwestern Louisiana, but all over the region. However, there's a bigger problem, too, and that's going to be the flooding. Take a look at the radar imagery. Already significant rainfall totals, and the eye hasn't even made it on shore yet, and we think there could be some isolated areas that could pick up better than 20 inches of rain, because once it makes landfall, it will be a very slow mover. We do have some weather stations in the region. First stop, Lake Charles, blowing at 46, having gusted to 60 degrees. Pleasure Island, Texas, in Port Arthur, Texas, right now blowing at 27, having gusted to 62. And look how much rain has already fallen in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The temperatures, well, the wind's not blowing that much, but how about rainfall? Already approaching 5 inches, and the eye of the storm is more than 100 miles away from Baton Rouge. An update on Rita, our own forecast, minutes away. Dave.
Thanks, Kevin. Millions of people are fleeing South Texas as Hurricane Rita approaches. A lot of Texans are making their way to southern Nevada to get away from the storm. Flights to and from Houston were canceled, though, today at noon Central Time. These travelers made it to Las Vegas from Texas here. They said they were not taking any chances with Hurricane Rita.
We hate to leave our relatives there, but they're all moving in, so everybody's inland, and I think they're going to be okay.
By mid-morning here in Las Vegas, this is what those checking on flights from Houston found on McCarran's website closed. Hurricane Rita had already started to put a damper on travel plans. If you're concerned about relatives whose flights were canceled or you have travel plans that involve the Gulf Coast, you should call the airline to see if maybe they'll give you a break on that. Nevada's Task Force 1 urban search and rescue team is now in the Houston area waiting to see where they'll go in the wake of Rita. The FEMA team left Las Vegas Wednesday. It's comprised of search and rescue experts, doctors, engineers. Some of these people had just returned from Louisiana after performing first responder operations following Hurricane Katrina.
Well, Katrina certainly did plenty of damage to oil and gasoline production operations, and the fear is that Hurricane Rita could do even more harm and send fuel prices skyrocketing. In the Houston area, there is more refining capacity than in the areas that were hit by Katrina. Some experts say prices could reach $4, maybe $5 a gallon. For the moment, though, we aren't seeing any major changes at the pump. Right now, averages are holding at the levels we've seen for most of the week. In southern Nevada, regular unleaded costs $2.88 a gallon. Nationwide, the average is $2.75. The price, though, of a gallon of gasoline is 84 cents higher right now than it was a year ago. Channel 8 Eyewitness News is live. Reporter Edward Lawrence is at a gas station on Industrial near Sahara with a closer look. Edward.
Hey, Colleen, that 84 cents higher mark there is causing a change in behavior for folks. It may also have a lasting effect on our economy as families cut back to pay for gas. What do you think?
$2.97 is too much.
We met Arlene Venture at the gas station on Lake Mead at Interstate 15. She and her husband retired in Las Vegas. Their fixed income does not have any room for this kind of gas increase.
I have to run back and forth to the doctor's office 3 times a week to dialysis for my husband, and it's just getting too much.
Her husband needs dialysis, forcing a 40-mile round trip. A 19-gallon tank of gas and about 19 miles per gallon with today's prices means Ventura will spend about $270 per year more. Western States Petroleum Association spokeswoman Anita Mangels says Hurricanes Katrina and Rita disrupted the supply out of the Gulf Coast, therefore sending gas meant for Las Vegas east.
It's also important to understand that we have, even under the best of conditions, a real supply-demand imbalance here that's growing every day.
Mangels says because of our thirst for fuel, the price of a gallon of gasoline was rising even before the two hurricanes entered the Gulf of Mexico. She adds it took a long time to get to this point, and prices will not significantly drop for a very long time because the supply won't increase.
More people, more cars, more miles traveled, but we haven't built a refinery in the country in over 29 years.
35 years in the West, throw in a couple of hurricanes and it equals sticker shock, so Fred Douglas just gets as much as he needs.
Oh yeah, that's all I can afford, is $4.
Just can't afford filling up every day.
And it does hurt. AAA estimates that once Rita comes on shore, the gas prices will rise again because those refineries are closed. Then it just depends on how fast those refineries can start operation producing gasoline again. Reporting live at the Westward Ho, Edward Lawrence, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Edward. More Metro officers are headed to the Gulf Coast to help strengthen law enforcement efforts in the aftermath of both hurricanes. The team of 1 deputy, 1 lieutenant, 9 officers, and a radio technician are headed to Bogalusa. It's about 70 miles north of New Orleans. Their deployment will last for 2 weeks. People leaving hurricane-ravaged regions continue to come here to southern Nevada. More than 2,600 have now signed up for help since September 7th. The center moved just yesterday from the Fertitta Center to another center on Highland Drive. The county says right now they only have the money to help those displaced by Katrina because a state of emergency has not yet been declared in Nevada for Hurricane Rita.
It was a frightening scene. This man you see behind me, Marvin Shoemate, was rescued from his car in the Hurricane Katrina floodwaters. It was all caught on tape by a New Orleans news crew who eventually helped him to safety. Well, you know what a small world it is. He now lives here in Las Vegas. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Cindy Cesare met up with him today on his first day of work at the Flamingo Hotel. She brings us this exclusive story.
Marvin Shoemate couldn't see that the road turned into a river because it was raining so hard. He lost everything inside that car. He escaped with the help of a New Orleans TV crew with his Harrah's New Orleans valet uniform and his wallet. When he managed to hitch a ride to Baton Rouge days later, he contacted his employer, which offered him a job at their Las Vegas Flamingo Hotel.
The hotel has put me up, and I mean, it couldn't have been better. I can't speak highly enough of the hotel. They've been just wonderful. I mean, I think they deserve all the credit. They took the initiative. They've bent over backwards to take care of me, and I assume take care of anybody else that wasn't employed.
Harrah's says that 75 employees from their 3 Gulf properties are now working at their 6 Las Vegas resorts.
They're great additions to the company, and we love having them around.
Harrah's not only made sure that all of its employees from the Gulf states who wanted to transfer got another job at one of their other properties, but once they arrived here in Las Vegas, they provided them with a place to stay and even clothing. Cindy Cesare, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
And Marvin Shoemate says he had some Las Vegas luck on his side because he survived. He plans to make Las Vegas his home, but he says he will miss the New Orleans that he knew.
Pretty amazing.
It is a small world.
There's always a connection to Las Vegas, isn't there?
We're glad he's doing well.